Good evening. My name is Caterine. Could you tell me your full name, please?
Yeah, my name is Abraham David Vásquez Ortega.
And what shall I call you?
You can call me Abraham. My friends call me Abe.
Where are you from, Abraham?
Uh, I am from Venezuela, but right now I live in Santa Marta, Colombia.
And are you a student or do you work?
I do both. I am a student at university and I also work for Berlitz.
Can I check your identification?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Okay, now in this first part of the exam, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about home. Do you live in a house or a flat?
Right now, I live in a house with my mom, my dad, and my grandma, but I used to live in an apartment like 4 years ago.
Okay, do you like the place where you live?
Yeah, it is a very nice place. It is also very accessible, and we have a lot of things nearby. But also, Santa Marta is a very small city, so that helps.
Okay, Abraham. Has your place changed a lot recently?
Not really, because well, something that has happened is some neighbors have added some floors to their houses, but not really. It's still the same as when I moved in.
Okay. Is your neighborhood a good place for children to grow up?
I think so, yes, because a friend of my mom's has a child, and we have two parks nearby, so you can take your children there. And it is also very close to malls and different parks around the city. So, yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about clothes. Is fashion important to you?
Yes, I think it is important. It is not the most important, but I do think that wearing clothes that make me feel good can boost my confidence.
How have your clothes choice changed since you were a teenager?
Uh, that's an interesting question. I think that right now I'm trying to look for ways to use more accessories in the way I dress myself, and I'm trying to use more colors because my wardrobe used to be very black and white, and I'm trying to mix some colors.
Okay. Where do you usually buy your clothes?
I buy my clothes, usually I buy my clothes at the mall. I go to different stores and I look for shirts and jeans and shoes that I like and I buy them there.
Do you like receiving clothes as a present?
Yes, yeah, because usually I receive them from people that know me and know what I like. And I think that it's a very nice detail when you receive something or clothing from someone that knows you because that means that that item made them think about you, and I think that's kind of cute.
Okay, Abraham. Now to part two. Now let's move on the second part of the exam. I'm going to give you a topic and I like to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you start, you will have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make some notes if you want. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Describes sometime you bought that was difficult to use at first? You should say what it was, why you bought it, how you used it, and explain what is was difficult to use at first.
Okay,
1 minute for the sink.
I'm ready.
All right. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. So don't worry if I stopped you. I will tell you when this time asks. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay, so I think that technological items are difficult to use in general, but specifically one that was difficult for me when I bought it was my first smartphone because well I had just used a BlackBerry for like 2 years of my life, so I was very used to having the tiles to text. And I think that smartphones have also a lot of functionalities and different things you can do with them. So it took me a while to adapt to that because I'm not the best with technology, oddly enough, even though I'm young and people think that I know a lot about technology, I don't. So it was difficult to use because of that, but it wasn't difficult adapting to it because my dad does like technology a lot, so he guided me through a lot of the things I could do with it, and I think that that's how I adapted. And definitely, that was one of the hardest things to use that I have. But and if not, I would say that my Nintendo Switch. But going back to my phone, I bought my phone because well, I had used a BlackBerry for 2 years, and I wanted something new because I was about to start high school, and so I wanted a newer way to communicate with my friends because the BlackBerry was starting to get outdated. But I think that's everything. Well, actually, I could keep going. It was good. It was actually very comfortable because the phone had a the well, the phone had a function that you could take like a little leg and it would stand by itself. So it was very nice. It was a very practical phone, but unfortunately, I ended up losing it accidentally, and that wasn't great. But yeah,
Thank you. Will you buy this then again?
yes, I think that I would buy that phone again. I really liked it. I felt really bad when I lost it.
Okay. Go part three. Now we have been difficult to use at first, and I would like to ask you some more general questions related to the topic. First of all, let's talk about buying things online. What type of products is difficult to use at first?
When buying things online, I think that the products that are most difficult to use are especially well, if you don't know English and you're buying from an English speaking country, the instructions might be in English. So maybe if you buy like practical games or like technical things like a camera or maybe like Alexa's or like Google Home. those can be difficult to use at first.
Okay. What are the perks of lines shopping?
The perks of online shopping, especially after the year we've had last year and well, part of this year, is that you don't have to physically go anywhere, so it is safer for you in the time that we're living in. And it is also very nice because, well, when we shop face to face in the physical store, you only have the stock of that store. But when we buy in places like Amazon, you have the stock of a lot of different providers. So there are more options available than there was in the past because in the past we could only rely on that one store, and if we wanted to see more options, we would have to drive to another store, which wasn't ideal. And now it doesn't happen with online shopping.
Okay. What are the drawbacks of online shopping? Drawbacks.
Can can you say the question again, please?
What are the drawbacks of online shopping?
Okay, definitely. I think that one of the drawbacks, the biggest drawbacks of online shopping is when you buy clothing because, well, you would have to be very sure about your measurements because even though every country has the same like system of S, M, L, XL, XS, in some countries it's different. For example, I discovered that in the United States I am an S, but in here in Colombia I am more of an M. So that's more difficult than when you buy clothes online. You are never 100% sure that they're going to fit. And another drawback is definitely the fact that when you buy things online, they have to be shipped and they have to be delivered to your house. And there are a lot of inconveniences that can happen with that process because the package can get lost, or for example, it can be damaged when you receive it. So those are two of the biggest drawbacks of buying things online that I can think about.
Abraham, why do some people buy only branded items?
I think that some people only buy branded items because they trust that brand. There is customer loyalty is very important in that sense, and also because I think that people have the idea that if it comes from a brand, it is generally good. It's something that happens with a lot of things. Like for example, there are a lot of cell phone brands, but there are two that are most prominent. Those are definitely Samsung and Apple. So people just put other brands like Huawei or like Xiaomi in the middle of it, and it's like they're not good because they're not brands. So I think people buy branded items because it makes them feel safe, and it is also something that they associate with being good, even though that's not always the case.
Do you think online shopping will change in the future?
Oh yeah, definitely. Uh, Well, there was a movie a long time ago called Clueless, and in that movie, one of the main characters had a digital wardrobe. And I think that in the future, we might be able to do that with online shopping. I think it isn't crazy to think that in the future, everyone will have VR glasses to shop online, and we'll be able to see how the clothes fit in our body, and will be able to create outfits with the clothing we're buying. Or I definitely think that in the future we could create an environment that's similar to the one of Ready Player One, where everything happens through your VR glasses, and we could maybe even go to the store using VR. So I think that in the future, online shopping will improve, I hope, and we will definitely use it more, especially after using it a lot this year. I think that more people trust it now. And so I think that in the future, people are going to take the trust that they have it and it will expand and it will be a more reliable source of or a more reliable way of buying things.
Thank you, Abraham. That is the test.
Okay.